Afternoon, people. The big smile still on my face from last night. We got This is a different kind of therapy session, but I'm looking forward to it. Got a great cast. Let's get straight into it. Yes, yes, yes. I love that intro, man. Takes you back, don't it, to some glory
There
days.
is a player missing, though, isn't there?
Quality, man. Quality stuff.
But yeah, we need to add Nketiah to that, and then we'll be well away with that intro, man.
I'm all right with that today. I'm all right with that today. He came on board.
He did do his business. So yes, it's here. It's the therapy show. It's a day later than normal, but I'm glad it is today, not yesterday. It would probably be a different kind of therapy show if it was yesterday. So yes, Silver Fox, how you keeping, bruv?
Man, I'm still buzzing. Look, I've got my tie hat on and everything. I'm going to be try and stay as positive as I can.
Yeah, I
I
love
mean,
that.
there's no reason not to be negative anyway. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good,
hundred
man. I'm
percent.
happy. I'm buzzing.
Good to hear. G talks.
Listen, man, I'm buzzing, man. Last night was literally a roller coaster of emotions. Today I just thought I don't care if I'm working. I'm putting on my Arsenal top. I literally done all my teams meetings this morning in my Arsenal top. I don't give a monkeys, mate. So I'm
Man's
wearing it
here to
with
talk
pride.
about it.
I'm wearing it
Yeah,
with
bro.
pride, man. But
I
yeah,
hear
no, I'm
that. I
good,
hear
man. I'm
that.
good.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So I know it's a therapy, and obviously I know there was a reaction yesterday. And guys, if you haven't seen the reaction show, make sure you go back and check it out. We had a lot of streams on that yesterday as well. So who says people only watch Arsenal fan channels when we lose? I think that was probably one of our biggest
Exactly.
reaction shows, isn't it? So yeah, obviously go back and watch that. But let's touch on yesterday before we get into whatever therapeutic needs we need to get off our chest. But hey, yeah, obviously massive performance. G, you were saying earlier about Wolves' record when they take the lead. So do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, like literally, like obviously, you know, I think Wolves is one of those teams where they've kind of gone under the radar because I
Mm,
think, all the talk of like, race for the top four, up until about maybe a couple of weeks ago, it was always, Spurs, West Ham, Arsenal, United. And to be honest, I didn't even really hear much of the Wolves talk in the conversation. And then
mm.
all of a sudden it kind of dawned on me when we were playing them 2 weeks ago that hold on, if this team beats us, they leapfrog us in the league. They are well in the running. So I think, like in a way, like they've kind of just been going about their business really, really quietly, but really effectively, considering they don't score that many goals. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like playing them back to back, 2 games within a 2 week period. We always knew it was going to be a tough game. Last 2 weeks ago, it was a tough game. We scraped it 1-0. And obviously, last night watching the game, I've got to be honest, when we went 1-0 down, I thought at that point, I wasn't very optimistic. I really thought it was going to be, a huge task and a real struggle to get back into the game. And if I'm completely honest, at 1-0, I thought we were going to lose the game. Obviously, Gabriel made for me, which was, well, it can only be described as a horrific back pass to Ramsdale. It wasn't good at all. He literally put it on the plate for the striker, although it was a good finish. Having said that, I thought he was actually quite shaky. In the beginning part of the game, I think he grew into the game, but Gabriel is one of these players that do you know what I mean? Like when he's on song, he looks an absolute beast, but when he's not at the races, he doesn't even look half the player he can be. And that was really, really worrying because I think with him, if he has a good game, we generally play well, and we generally win the game. But I was really, really worried about his performance, particularly in the first half. But you know what? Beating Wolves back to back, twice in 2 weeks, taking 6 points off them. I put up a tweet last night and it said, look, I think the commentator said it, no one beats Wolves when they go ahead. Well, they ain't met this Arsenal side, I tell you that.
Yeah, just to touch on what you said, again, I came back last night. First thing I did is put the game on to watch last night after going to the game. But I did get in the stadium late, so I did miss the first 10 minutes. So when people were saying like Gabriel was a bit shaky, I was like, I didn't really see it. And then I watched it back and I saw a few moments
he was.
like he was hesitant on the ball. But I think there wasn't much passing lines for him. And yeah, I think that's why. And I think the Wolves played on it as well. Obviously, they only played this 2 weeks ago, so they would have picked up ways of kind of nullifying Arsenal a bit.
Yeah. 100%.
But I think the stat that came out yesterday, when I watched it back, they said it on the commentary is Wolves, I think it's 3 years since they've taken a lead in the game and lost. And I think it amounted to something like 40-something games when they've taken the lead, they haven't lost. So actually, for us to kind of get over the line, in the stadium, I was saying take a 1-1. It still gives you a 4-point lead over Tottenham. Like it's 2 points off Wolves. They dropped 2 points as such, so they haven't closed the gap on us.
Well, they took 6 points off us last season, didn't they?
Yeah. So to get the win was massive. So what about you, Silva? Thoughts on yesterday? How you feeling today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to admit, and people have seen it. I was on Gabriel's case when that.
I know you would have been. I know you would have been.
No, all I was saying, where's the same energy for when it's holding? That's all I'm saying. But he looked proper shaky. But yeah, he grew into the game a bit as time went on. I thought Ben White had a few moments as well. Like G said, I was the same. I was like, when we were 1-0 down, I thought, here we go, this is it. We were all laughing at Spurs the day before. We were all carried away, and then we were going to eat some big old apple pie. But do you know what? The boys kept fighting, and that's all we could ask for. And they got the result at the end of the day. So I'm just. But look, who doesn't like a last-minute winner?
Yeah,
almost reminiscent of that last-minute win against Leicester a few years back when Leicester won the league. It's just a great feeling. Just a great feeling.
Yeah, and again, to do it against your rivals and such, do you know what I mean? Like, not saying they should be our rivals, but they very much are there. Like, again, out of all the teams that most teams would probably say they would hate to play Wolves, especially away from home and stuff. Do you know what I mean? They know how to make it difficult. And I think with the criticism of Ben White and Gabriel, I think an element of that is the fact that Wolves know how to set up to frustrate you. Like, it's no surprise. There's some teams who are hard to beat. Like Burnley, you know what I mean? There's teams that are hard to beat, and Wolves are going to that category where I was watching it up in the stands, and I was up in the heavens. Like, I was high. I loved it out there. Actually, you could see everything, and the way they compress the pitch, like it's so tight. So it was no surprise to me when White and Gabriel are holding onto the ball for that second longer, because actually Wolves aren't giving you any space to play. And again, we will touch on this in the breakdown, like the shape of the team and how we kind of changed it in the second half. Even before the substitutions come on, there's a couple of little runs you saw Xhaka start making. And actually, our formation looked more like a 4-3-3 with a defensive midfielder rather than a 4-2-3-1. And again, we will touch on it. I'll get the heat maps out and the rest of it, because I do think we definitely changed to a 4-3-3. Xhaka's starting position.
Yeah.
When we defended, it was a 4-2-3-1. But when we got possession, Partey just drops in the middle, and Xhaka then went a lot higher. So yeah, it was good to watch, like really good. And yeah, I think what I liked is, again, listen to the commentary and people saying Arsenal didn't deserve to win. I'm thinking, what game are you watching? Like, I sat in that stands and I was comfortable, and it was just wave after wave. I've never seen Wolves play so much long ball. Like, the amount of times they just cleared their lines, and Tierney was picking up the ball again, and Holding as well, and not Holding, sorry, Gabriel and White. Like, I don't think we've ever seen anyone do that to Wolves, and I've just seen a tweet by Neves. Have you guys seen it? So IG, just quickly, Neves put a tweet out. We didn't deserve to win, to be honest. We had some good chances to score, but we didn't play well. They took us back all the game after going 1-0 up, and we just defended. When you don't have the ball against these kind of teams, you will suffer.
White that I thought was going to go in.
Yeah, and
that was about it, really.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. And for him to come out and say that, he's obviously twerking for a move back to us after dissing us 2 weeks ago. And I'll take him. He's one hell of a player, man. But it just shows you when a guy who played in the game comes out and says that, we defended. Like, they literally did. They just defended. Like, So I haven't seen Arsenal that dominant. We might have scored
I
more
mean, I'll
goals
tell
in
you
the
what's
game, but
impressed
actually
me.
controlling the game. I haven't seen that in so long, and I like it at the moment, man. Yeah, go on, Silver.
I'll tell you what's really impressed me about the two games against Wolves. They were both very, very different.
Mm,
First one at Wolves, obviously, we got the lead early on, had a play sent off, and just defended solidly well. I will mention his name again, Holding. But no, anyway, it's all seriousness. We did. And then in this game, we found ourselves one down and found ourselves back into the game. We attacked, kept knocking on that door. It was two very different wins, and we saw two different sides of Arsenal there, which I'm really
Yeah,
encouraged about.
yeah,
yeah,
definitely,
definitely,
man.
definitely. So
It's
with sorry, go on, dogs. G,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's clear though. It's like, you know what it is like with this, because I've seen a lot of like reaction and stuff like that to the Arsenal victory. It's like it's so obvious that people are just rattled. Do you know what I mean? It's like, obviously, the last two seasons people have come kind of accustomed to Arsenal, obviously, struggling to finish in the European places. And you know what? The season's not over. It's not a foregone conclusion that we're going to finish top 4 or top 6.
No,
But at the end of the
100%.
day, people are looking at the results and the teams that we're playing and the results that we're getting against certain teams, and they're clearly rattled because, like you said, Gums, I don't have a clue what match people were watching if they said Arsenal didn't deserve to win that game. Because what I was going to say originally before you said that was, considering how good Wolves are defensively, I was gobsmacked how many chances we were actually creating. Like, we got in behind them and we actually created so many chances. And if you remember back and like kind of at the beginning of the season, offensively, we weren't great. There were games when we weren't having a single shot on goal. We weren't creating, many chances. And I was very critical of Arsenal, not so much defensively, but more as an offensive unit, actually being able to, kind of, create chances. Obviously, we didn't put as many of them away as we'd like to, but we all know that's an issue we have, and that's probably not likely to be improved until the summer window. But I was just very impressed against what is a very solid and well organized defense, that we were able to actually create so many good chances.
Yeah, definitely. And so in terms of obviously this new look Arsenal, and again, Silver Fox has touched on it. We've seen both sides. When we're winning 1-0 down to 10 men, we're resolute. Even if you go back to the City game, like they nicked it in the last kick of the game. We held strong for a long time. Um, and again, now this game when we're chasing the game, we've got, do you know what I mean? People say we haven't got firepower, whatever, but there seems to be an element of belief in this team at the moment. Do you feel this is kind of the new look Arsenal, and just not putting down any players we've let go in the past? Do you know what I mean? Because all of them have played with passion, but this team seems to have a togetherness at the moment. You saw it in the celebrations afterwards, and just a belief. I think there's a newfound belief in this team at the moment. Would you guys agree with it?
Yeah, I was going to pick that up actually, because I was watching it again today, the celebrations after, and even Xhaka, yeah, we've
And
always
Leno.
mentioned about the passion, and Leno as well. Obviously, he's not been
Mm,
playing, but the passion and the support he showed to the players on the pitch was just, it's something. And there's definitely something happening there. Now, some of these players that we mentioned might not even be here next season, but they are pushing for that place, and it's lovely to see. And Arteta, I mean, look, I don't know how anyone can say a bad word about him. I really don't. At this moment in time, anyway, because I'm still seeing people going, "Oh, Arteta, Arteta out," and calling people that are supporting Arteta sexuals and whatnot.
mm,
But you know he's hungry. He's still young. He's going to make mistakes. But I actually think I said Partey was man of the match, but I think Arteta was man of the match, because some of
mm.
those changes that he made, and there were some brave ones there. He took Cedric off,
Yeah,
didn't he?
Yeah.
And you thought, what are you doing there? And then Pepe come on, 82nd minute, bang. And then when Pepe scored, then I kind of believed, I had a little belief inside going, I think we're going to win this. I think we're going to nick it. I'll take a draw. But the way we're knocking on that door, and Saka came close before that goal, because it was his shot.
Yeah,
Then the
really,
rebound,
yeah.
the ball's come back in for Lacazette to score. Well, not Lacazette to score, but he
Mm.
forced it. I think Saka probably would have got to the end of it anyway. But it's just the passion. You can't question it. And I think this documentary, we're going to see just how much these guys care.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And
definitely.
just in terms of what you said about Arteta, I think there was a break that obviously when we're chasing the game, he's gone free at the back. He's took off Cedric, brought on Nketiah, and he's played Pepe and Saka as wing backs. Now there was a moment we equalised, and Tierney pulls up, And I think this is telling of the mentality of he was going to win. This moment here, I'm thinking, right, maybe you bring on El Nene or whatever it is, and you change back to a 4 at the back, and you just go back to how we was playing. You take your 1-all. Then I'm thinking, actually, no, you bring on Holding, and you make sure and get that back three strong. But he brought on Tavares, and that was really telling because he didn't play Tavares as a left back. He played him as a left centre back. But if you saw Tavares, he got the ball and he was going forward. Like he wasn't just going to sit there and hold. And that was kind of just showed you, actually, we're going to go and win this game. We're not going to take a 1-all. Let's go and win this. And that to me was really telling because, again, after what Holding did against Wolves last time, where he came on and shored us up, for me, that was the change you make when Tierney come off.
Yeah, he recognised that we had most of the ball we were attacking. So
yeah,
it was logical. It was logical.
Yeah, again, it's brave. Do you know what I mean? Because again, now if you got the other end concede, then everyone's going to be calling for you, saying, "Why did you bring on Tavares? Why didn't you bring on Holding?" Like, do you know what I mean? It really could have backfired on him. So he's kind of got another call right in terms of saying Tavares is involved. But again, it's just that presence of I've got this guy overlapping Xhaka down the left-hand side. Like as a defensive unit now, it sends a different message, doesn't it? So yeah, G, what about you on Arteta? Any kind of thoughts on him?
Yeah, you know what it is. I've been critical of him, and you know that kind of stems back from his appointment, because you know I'm very much of the mentality, like I think all of us are, where you know I know what our club is, I know what it represents, I know where we ought to be. So the idea of I know he worked under Pep and he worked in like the the Man City kind of camp, etc. etc. I know he played for Arsenal, but I was quite disappointed when he did actually join as a manager, because I just thought it's not really where we want to go, like in terms of taking on a rookie manager. I'm not gonna say I never said that, because that's what my opinion was at the time. I didn't think he was the right man, but it's like I'm also very much a fan that when something's happening, you kind of got to just accept it, and you kind of got to just move on, because there's no point barking on about he's not the right man, because he's there. And quite clearly, the board and the players and etc. believe in him. So, but in terms of what he's doing to this team, what I can see, and I just watched an interview with Arteta before I came on the show, and he was talking about like changing the culture of the club, kind of getting rid of kind of bad influences or anybody that's not kind of going to take on board the non-negotiables or anything like that. And I think you can clearly see that, because as Arsenal fans, we look at that team and we know from watching football what's missing in terms of personnel and in terms of quality. We know that. We're very much aware that it's the youngest team in the Premier League. But what is clear is that the unity and the team spirit amongst this group of players is just phenomenal. And from what I see, it's just growing and growing and growing. It's like it started. It's almost, I don't know when it started, but it feels as though like the kind, I know it started before that, because behind the scenes, these things always start way before you start to see them on the field. Do you know what I mean? Like it starts on the training ground. It starts with the one-to-one conversations, etc., etc. But I feel like Ramsdale's his kind of personality and his interaction and connection with the fans was almost like the thing I can pinpoint as the catalyst where I started to see a turnaround, and it just seems to have grown from there to the point where, do you know what I mean? Like I look at some of these players and, like you said, the likes of Leno, the likes of Xhaka, the likes of Eddie, the likes of I can't remember the other one's name, whoever it is, but they might not even be at the club next season. But the unity and the passion, that these players are showing, despite having uncertain futures, with also the young players that clearly have a long-term future at the club, it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. And for me, it's just something that it's been so long in terms of what I've wanted to see, as an Arsenal fan. I wanted to see this come back into the club. And, I put up a tweet last night when Lacazette was obviously missing all those chances. And I put up a tweet and I said, you know what, I'm not even going to cuss the guy anymore. Like, I don't even really have it in me to insult him, because it's like we knew as a club, that he's not necessarily the man to take us forward long term. But obviously we didn't replace him, so we've kind of just got to accept that. But I tell you, I was watching the game with my son, and my son said to me, I don't understand Arsenal fans that don't like Lacazette. And he said,
Mm,
I said, what do you mean? Because I said he's not the most clinical, and he goes, yeah, but just look at the way the guy plays. He's like,
mm,
and he's not really a massive football fan. He's been watching a couple of the games with me recently, but he's more of a basketball guy. But he said to me, he's like, I don't understand, because obviously he sees my Twitter and he sees, you know, the stuff we talk about, and he's like, I don't get the grief that he gets, because I get he don't score goals, but the man just fights. The man just
mm,
constantly fights. He never. He said in a couple games I've seen, he gives everything in terms of effort, work rate, and he just tries his best. And it's not
mm.
his fault that he's not quite at the level that Arsenal obviously need to go to that next level. And you know what? I sat there and I thought, you know what? My 16-year-old son is he's telling me about myself. You
He's
know what I mean?
schooling you, yeah. I love that. But I
He's
think 'cause
actually a captain, a proper captain, though, isn't he?
he's a
Yeah,
captain, yeah.
And something else as well, I've noticed a lot more. So you talk about Ramsdale and his connection with the fans. I think it's all the players and the fans. There seems to be a unity there now.
yeah.
And you can feel it. You don't even have to be there. You can feel it, and
Yeah.
that's something we've got to be
Do you
happy
know,
about. As well.
I agree with what you say about the Ramsdale thing. Like you haven't pinpointed him to be a major, but he is a major factor because
Yeah, he is,
I think
man.
he brings a arrogance and a calmness. Do you know what I mean? And
God,
sometimes that's the difference. So he makes a mistake and he says sorry, but I'm still going to do it again next time I get the ball. I'm not going to panic and rush and start
Yeah.
kicking a long ball, because if you go back to the Brighton game and the Palace game, that's where we went wrong. We was dominating the game. They started pressing. We got nervous. We started kicking long balls, and they said, "Thank you. I've got two 6'4" and a 6'7" centre back there.
Yeah.
We're now start playing in your half," and it changed the whole game. And if you remember, after that game, Arteta come out and said, we got to start being braver and trusting to play out from the back more. So I think Ramsdale brings that. If you've got someone, but the last line of your defense is nervy and panicky, and do you know what I mean, when he's kicking the ball, he's not aiming for the cut through passes. Like it's just kind of that would filter straight through to your back four. Now, actually, we're a bit nervous now. Should we get the ball? Should we play short? Should I go back to him? Like Gabriel made the mistake, and he still played back to Ramsdale afterwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everything's there make a big difference. And also with the Lacazette thing, again, I do understand he does miss some chances. I don't think I think the Wolves game last time was a one-on-one. That's he got to be scoring it, but a lot of his things are half chances. Do you know what I mean? And again, a lot of guys were getting good blocks in yesterday, so he's not really missing clear cut, really and honestly. However, we don't create much, so when you get one, you want him to take it.
This is the thing.
But
Yeah.
even Arteta mentioned his work rate, and he said, "I've got my striker playing in the left back at one stage, winning the ball back. Then he's keeping possession." So I mean, he drove us up the pitch a few times. He was all action yesterday, and you can see again after he's put up his little Instagram post where he's having a little shot at the Wolves players about celebrating. But then you look at the comments underneath, and all the Arsenal players are under there. My captain, blah blah. Even Xhaka's in there saying my captain, and that stuff there. Like there has been a big difference, I feel, since he's taken the armband. And this is not me dissing Abba at all. I love Abba. Like I
You
saw
know
his
what?
goal
Yeah.
yesterday. Different.
Lacazette could have responded to that Aubameyang situation so much worse. Like he could have
that's
really,
the point.
as a senior player and as a close pal to Aubameyang, he could have really kind of thrown his toys out the pram and pushed for a January move. He could have easily done that, but he didn't. And I think I just think, like I say, I've been critical of him, and I'm sure I'll be critical of him again. You know, if he misses chances, but. You know, I've got to agree with my son, and I know, Gumza, you've come to his defense quite a lot.
I ride for Laka. Yeah. Him and Eddie, I ride for them.
What he lacks in quality, he definitely makes up and tries his best in terms of effort and work ethic. You know,
and
he's a true professional.
And again, it's when you've got the squad we've got with the young players. Do you know what I mean? You need that as your leader to look at, to say, actually, this is what I've got to embody. Do you know what I mean? To go to the next level, or again, he's setting the standard. Do you know what I mean? He is our captain for the rest of the season. Whether he's here and end next year, probably not. But what he's given you is, do you know what I mean? If him and Odegaard, if they're working like that, then Odegaard's played at Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? Like, who am I not to put the same work rate? And if you now partner that with Martinelli, who's going to work his socks off. Now you got three of that front four who are ready to press. They're gonna work. Do you know what I mean? And now if I'm on the right hand side of that, I can't now down tools. So if I am Pepe or Saka, I can't down tools. Look at what them three are doing, and it just kind of, you can see as we was on the front foot. Like again, Wolves are known for being a good footballing team. Like I saw how they dealt with Man United. I saw how they dealt with Tottenham. They beat Leicester recently. Like, they're a good footballing team, and they couldn't get the ball. Like, they didn't put anything together. They didn't get tired. Like, start of the second half, they opened this up right at the start of the second. But apart from that, it was light work. Like,
Beautiful stuff, man.
it was nice. And this is why I've spoken before. United will win games. They got quality players. Tottenham will win games. Like, we've seen they beat City, they stunk up the place and hit a couple of counters and won. Fair play to them. But the way we're controlling games at the moment, I'll be honest. I think if teams like the Wolves, other teams we played, they probably will say playing us at the moment is like playing your Liverpools, Chelseas, and Cities, where you're just do you know what I mean? You haven't got possession. Whereas Arsenal of old, I remember playing Brighton, and Brighton had 20-something shots on our goal.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? How many times did Leno win man of the match last season?
Yeah.
Whereas I'm watching now, De Gea is Man United's best player by a country mile.
Yep.
He's winning man of the matches, player of the months. He's won player of the season like 3 times or something like that. Like, your keeper at a top 4 club should never be winning player of the season. So there's a distinct change of actually we're now controlling games. So we're gonna still get beat. I'm not saying we're gonna win every game, but there's a difference in how. I guarantee if I look at the last 5 matches, we've probably got majority possession. We probably have more shots. Do you know what I mean? It's that element of actually I can see the tides are starting to change now. Before, I was frustrated because it was like watching the same Arsenal. We might win games, but we're playing poor football, or we're getting dominated. Leno's making hundreds of saves, and we're just sneaking it.
Yeah.
Now I'm watching games thinking, no one. It's
If
not
you
an
look
easy
at-
game when you play.
If you look at the last 9 league, the last kind of games that last 9, the last 9 games that we've played, we've lost the City, which, you know, to be honest, we should have won. And we dropped 2 points against Burnley in a game that we should have won as well. You know, had we put away our chances. So, you know, we're you know,
at the moment, it's not such a bad result now, is it?
Do you know
exactly.
what? I was gonna say that.
So,
I was gonna say we got a lot of stick for Burnley.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna I've literally pulled it up here because I wanted to raise it today. Since we drew 0-0 with Burnley, they've drawn with Watford, which they should be winning that game. But that's do you know what I mean? Both teams are gonna be up for that. They drew 1-0 with United. They only lost 1-0 to Liverpool. They smashed Brighton 3-0, and they beat Tottenham 1-0. So yes, at the start it looked bad to draw with Burnley, but they're on one hell of a run at the moment.
They always do it. They always do it at the end of the season. Always.
And Liverpool were lucky to beat them
as well. I mean, that's going to do them a lot of favours as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, so I say at the moment we're heading in the right direction. We've got another 9 days off. So again, I think soon we have got. Go on.
Just a question, because I caught this on TalkSport this morning, or it might have been last night. I can't remember. But I actually agree with what Jason Cundy said here. He asked a question to Jamie O'Hara. You know what Jamie O'Hara said? He goes, "Do you think if Arsenal get top 4, Arteta should be in for manager of the year, manager of the season?"
Yeah.
In my opinion, yes.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got to be in contention.
I can't see who else you'd give it to, because like if Man City win the league, it's expected. If Liverpool win the league, it's expected. If Chelsea finish in the top, third, that's an underachievement. I can't see, with this team that he's inherited and what he's building, if he makes top 4, I can't see no other person that would be deserving of manager of the year. Personally, off the top of my head anyway.
Managers for Tottenham and Man United as well. So.
I think the only other person would be someone like a Bruno Lage. I'm really impressed with what he's done. If he could get top 6 with them, that's a massive achievement from where they were. Lost their manager. They just lost Adama Traore. Obviously, Jota went the year before, but big player for them. Like, he's kind of gone under the radar and he's worked wonders with them. And he's just kind of picked up where, and they actually look better than they did under Nuno. Like, they're a lot more better offensively than with Nuno. So, I would think he's got to be with a shout, if I'm honest.
Has to be.
And again, if you look at what he's done behind the scenes as well, so change the culture of the club. Obviously, for us, that's a big thing. But actually, if you look at the wage budget, he's cut by half. I think they've said, and so to overachieve, even if he didn't cut the wage, but if he kept them players around the Abbas, Kalaz, and that's top 4, is still an overachievement for this Arsenal team. So to cut that in half, the players he's brought in, he deserves his credit. And hopefully, do you know what I mean? I'm buzzing for them. But now we're talking about top 4. let's pull this up because the top 4 race is on, and this is the next 5 fixtures. So Man United have got Watford, City, Spurs, Liverpool, and Leicester. Arsenal, Watford, Leicester, Liverpool, Villa, and Palace. West Ham have got Wolves, Liverpool, Villa, Spurs, Everton. Wolves have got West Ham, Palace, Watford, Everton, Leeds, and Spurs is non-applicable. Tony, you're a bad man. Silver Fox, you're a bad man. But yeah, let's get into some of these fixtures.
They
Let's
got a
go
manager
with
that won't be there anymore.
I love that interview. It was amazing. Let's go with United first. Obviously, they're a point ahead of us, but we've got 2 games in hand on them. So you're looking at them fixtures: City, Spurs, Liverpool, Leicester. That's a tough 4, isn't it?
Yeah, they'll beat Watford, but those 4 there.
They could easily lose all 4 of them.
Yeah, I was going to say that United could easily lose all 4 of those games. Easy.
Yeah.
Easily.
So, go on. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun.
Well, that's crazy. City
Let's have some. Yeah, let's have some fun. How many points do you reckon they get from that?
All right.
3 against Watford, none against City, 1 against Spurs.
Yeah.
1 against Liverpool. Yeah. I think they'll beat Leicester.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
I don't think they beat Leicester.
So, at home, I think they will. If it was at King Power, then it might be a different story.
7 points. I agree with you.
7 points is the max they're getting them.
That's not bad. Right. Arsenal, we've got Watford, Leicester, Liverpool, Villa, Palace. Ours does look a lot more favourable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
On paper. It looks favourable.
Watford will win. We should. Leicester 6. Liverpool at home. We tend to draw against them at home.
They look hot at the moment, though.
Yeah, they're chasing that. But we'll lose that one then. Let's just try and keep it real.
Yeah.
Villa, Palace, they're tricky ones there.
They are.
I would be happy to take 4 out of those last 2.
Yeah, so we're saying 6. So we're saying 10 points out of that. 10 out of 15 would be happy.
I'd say we need to take a minimum of 8 points. I don't feel as confident. I feel like Villa and Palace.
Villa are very hit and miss, aren't they?
Yeah.
But Palace away is always horrible for us.
Yeah.
Small pitch.
I think 10 points is realistic.
Yeah. All right, West Ham. Yeah, I'll take 10. West Ham have got Wolves, Liverpool, Villa, Spurs, and Everton.
I think they're going to struggle,
Wolves draw.
Yeah.
Liverpool lose. Villa, Gerrard, Coutinho. I'm going to go win at home against Villa. I think they'll beat Spurs. They love beating Spurs away.
That's a big one.
And then Everton, I think they'll beat Everton. I think they'll win all that. Draw against Wolves, lose against Liverpool, win the rest.
The problem with West Ham is that they also got a tough tie against Sevilla as well.
Yeah, I can't see them getting that many, if I'm honest.
No, I honestly can't. I think they could potentially. I think they
could fall out.
Yeah, sorry, I think they'll draw with Wolves. They'll lose to Liverpool. I think they'll beat Villa, lose to Spurs, and probably even. Well, I don't know. I just can't see West Ham maintaining where they are in the league. Honestly, I think they'll pick up about maybe 6 points at best.
See, this is interesting. Wolves, to me, have got the easier fixtures. So they've got West Ham, Palace, Watford, Everton, and Leeds. I could see them taking minimum 12 out of that, maybe 13.
This is why, had they got points off us in the last 2 fixtures, they would have been so well placed.
Yeah, definitely.
Well placed. That's why those 2 wins are so crucial.
Yeah, watching that, they've definitely got the easiest run, and we will bring Spurs' fixtures up. So Spurs have got Leeds, Everton, Man United.
They'll draw that.
Brighton.
They could
and
lose
then West Ham.
And I think West Ham have beat them at their place. They always do.
The thing is, on paper, these things look easy, but there's an element of when these teams have to play a low block, it's very difficult to break down. Spurs haven't got much creativity. And actually, we might see a reverse. They might beat the Uniteds and actually come unstuck against the Brightons. And we're quite, not to say we're similar, but we've seen it. That's why it was no surprise when they beat City and lost to Burnley for me.
Yeah, I wasn't even sweating it. Like honestly, like when Spurs beat City, I was just like, that's Spurs though, isn't it? Like when Spurs can turn up and they play very much kind of counter-attacking football. So they can turn up against a team like Man City and get a result. But the key for Spurs, if you actually look at their last 5 games, they've lost 4. Do you know what I mean? So they've lost 4 when they beat Man City. So they're not gonna you're not gonna make a real push for top 4 if that's the type of form you're in.
In August.
So do you know what I mean? So they may well go on and beat Man United, but it means very little if they lose to the likes of Brighton and stuff. So I'm not too worried about Spurs now.
Definitely. Yeah. No, it's one of the things on paper's paper. Do you know what I mean? It all looks easy when you got them bottom of the table clubs, but actually they're fighting for their lives, and Brighton aren't clear of that relegation zone. Do you know what I mean? There's some big fixtures down there.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. Like there's no easy game. So again, Kunle's the one he keeps telling me, one game at a time. He reiterates it all the time to us.
Yeah.
Don't get carried away. To take each game as it comes. And again, in that streak, that run of fixtures we got 3 games in 7 days coming up soon.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be, do you know what I mean?
Just
a bit different, but again, we've had a lot of rest in between. Yeah, we've had a lot of rest in between that, so we hopefully should be in top condition. Just reports on Tomiyasu. I heard it's his other calf, which is why he wasn't in the squad yesterday. And again, that could just be because he's had one calf injury. It happens. Your body overcompensates on one side, doesn't it? So, again, for me, Cedric's done nothing wrong. I think he was good yesterday.
Cedric played well.
I said, what was it about glass men fullbacks?
I don't even know. But yeah, again, Watford.
So Cedric, he's impressing me in a minute.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind, even if Tomiyasu's fit, I wouldn't even mind letting Cedric play 60, 70 minutes and then bringing Tomiyasu on for 20 just to get some minutes in his legs again. Like, even if he's got to go play 23s a game or 2 rather than, do you know what I mean? Like, he's done well yesterday. He got given a couple of horrible passes and
there was a few.
Dealt with them really well. He done really well yesterday.
What was that one when he slid through with the ball and got back up again?
Yeah. And he'd one recovery run as well where he come back in and he just cleaned up really well.
He's stepped up recently, man. He really has.
Definitely. Also, ref watch. Let's do a bit of ref watch. What do you think of yesterday? Obviously, a lot of time wasting from the 20th minute. But it kind of worked out in our favour because he gave us 6 minutes at the end of the game. But I was surprised not to see Sarr get booked in that game. I don't think there was anything dirty in terms of tackles, but time wasting was one thing. And also the penalty shout on Martinelli in the first few minutes. Penalty for you, G, or not?
Listen, that for me. You know what it is, yeah? It's one of those things where it's like, whether or not it's a penalty, whether it's a penalty or whether it's not a penalty, it's one of those things where I just don't understand with VAR how it wasn't even looked at. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you look at the way the player's gone to ground and you look at the reaction of the players on the pitch, that should tell you, without even stopping the game, the decision can be reviewed, and then if needs be, a penalty can be given. But the way, it just annoyed me that penalty shout was not even looked at, but a clear offside goal for Wolves was looked at for about 5 minutes. Like, somebody who didn't even understand football could see that was offside. It was clear as day. And they're all drawing lines on the camera and all that. I'm like, why are they even doing this? It's clearly offside. You can see it without even looking at it. But yeah, Martinelli, for me personally, I think it was a penalty. I can't see any, having watched it. Obviously, I've seen the highlights. I've watched it slow down during the game, etc. Even though they didn't put too much attention on it. For me, it was a penalty because I can't see where the player made contact with the ball. There is a kind of flip argument to say that it is a bit soft, that it wasn't, I wouldn't necessarily say it was dangerous or a particularly bad challenge, but at the end of the day, there was contact from the Wolves defender on Martinelli, and there was no contact on the ball. So I can only come to the conclusion that it was a penalty, but it wasn't even viewed. So, and the ref, his instinct reaction was absolutely no penalty straight away. He didn't even hesitate.
Yeah. it's for me, yeah, again, watching it, I didn't see it as I was trying to get into the stadium at the time. My son was stuck outside, not able to get in for a minute. His card wasn't working. So yeah, we heard the kind of groans. Then I've watched it back, and I can see what Semedo's trying to do. He's just trying to block the shot, thinking it's coming, but he's definitely impeding Martinelli because again, Martinelli
100%.
couldn't even make contact with the ball. So I think that's where the sticking point comes in. He hasn't tried to foul Martinelli. Like you can see what he's trying to do, but it's clumsy.
Yep.
We had one on the weekend which is really similar when Lacazette tried to get in front of the player, and that one looks more messy because there's a lot of players involved and you couldn't really see. So I understand why that one was just kind of given as a no penalty, but he's definitely impeding Martinelli's ability to shoot. So and again, he's got nowhere near the ball. Like Martinelli's not able to then do what he wants to do. So it should be a penalty again, at least reviewed. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not too sure where the contact was made on Martinelli. Like if it was in front, behind, there probably was like 3 touches in there. But yeah, just to not look at it is crazy to me. And this is why I think something like an NFL where you could throw a flag, if the referee could just turn around and say, I haven't seen that, throw a flag rather than straight, it's a no penalty. That way he helps himself. Do you know what I mean? Rather than there, I have to say to him, you've made a mistake, go back and look at it. Again, it probably wasn't a clear and obvious mistake, but actually it's something that maybe if you look at it from a different angle, you might think actually that is a penalty or not. So he should have an option to, even if he taps his watch or does something to say, I haven't seen it, we'll play the game, you lot let me know what's going on. They could turn around and say nothing there, or they could turn around and say, actually stop the game, right, come back and have a look. Or when the ball goes out of play, right, now come and have a look. Like there should be an option for him to do that. And I think that would definitely help him.
Do you watch cricket?
Bits, not much, bit of 2020.
Because in cricket, I'm not sure if I think it is Test cricket as well as the shorter forms of the game. They have an option where each team during an innings can get like 2 or 3 referrals. Yeah. So, for example, if the umpire's made an on-field decision and he's given it not out or he's giving it out or whatever it is, you as a team have like a slot. So just say, for example, like if a bowler's bowled and he's given an LBW and you don't think you're out, you have like a 15, 20-second window where you can actually go to the third umpire, which is basically VAR, and it gives you an opportunity for the decision to be reviewed. Now, that for me is, I watch a bit of cricket, and for me, that's completely transformed international cricket because so many of the umpiring decisions that are incorrect do actually get overturned. Right. I don't know how or if that would work with football, and I don't know who would actually, have the power to make the referral. Would it be the manager? Would it be an assistant coach? Would it be one of the players? I don't know how it would work, but for me, I would be open to something like that being introduced. The only problem I have is that if the people watching the clips are useless as they've proven to be, then it doesn't matter what you introduce, they're still going to get it wrong.
Yeah, and this is I completely agree with that. And again, this could be done if it's the manager. This could be done without even stopping the game. He could turn to the fourth official and say, "I'm not happy with that. Have a view." And it could be happening while the game's playing. Referee might not even know about it until someone radios through saying, "Actually, Arteta's raised this issue. We've watched it back. We want you to go and have a look at it." Then all of a sudden the game goes dead. Right, I'm going over there quickly. Again, this could be done without it being seen. This is why I also say about the referee having an option of saying, "I haven't seen it." So the game's playing. I've called play on because I couldn't see, but somebody helped me up there. And this is what my issue with the VAR rule is because it's the VAR will only intervene if it's a clear and obvious error. Well, it might not be clear and obvious error because I haven't actually seen it. Again, the Martinelli one, 10 out of 10 people, 5 might say penalty, 5 might say it's not. It's not clear. So to me, that's not clear and obvious. So actually, VAR is not getting involved because the referee said play on. Whereas if the referee turns around and says, I haven't seen it, that now could trigger VAR to say, right, we're going to help you out. So they might turn around and still say, no, it's not a penalty, but at least it just clears it up rather than having to make the referee feel like he's made a mistake because actually he might not make a mistake. And you get told all the time, if you don't know, don't guess. Do you know what I mean? You almost got to give the advantage to the defender or the attacker. So I think that there will take away the element of the referee's got it wrong and it will turn it into we're helping the referee out. He hasn't seen it for whatever reason.
Definitely.
We're gonna, do you know what I mean? So there's got to be an element of they can intervene when he's made a clear and obvious error, but equally he should be able to say, the angle I'm stood at right now, I can't see it. Go help me out. And again, we see it with handballs. If he's the wrong side, he can't see everything. Like he hasn't got vision to see everything. So again, if that happens on one side where the linesman's not on that side and he's the other side, he's not going to see it. So it's almost like just help him out a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And again, that could be something he could drop a flag or tap his watch, and the game could keep playing. And VAR could just do what they're doing behind upstairs or wherever they're sitting in Stockley Park, and that I think would clear up a lot of issues as well.
Let's just call it what it is. Yeah, we ain't ever gonna get any of these decisions. They don't want Arsenal to get top 4. Manchester United is money, baby, and that's what it's all about. I've said it now. And I'm staying by it. I'm staying by that.
He's gone out there. He's gone out there with it. But yeah, what was your thoughts on it? Do you think it was a penalty as well, then, Silver?
I'm going to be honest with you. I looked away for 5 minutes, and that must be the 5 minutes I looked away. Maybe I was on VAR. I don't know.
Yeah, it's right at the start of the game. If you go back and watch it, it's right at the start, like couple of minutes in, weren't it?
Yeah, at the start of the game, I was kind of doing this. So, you know, I just caught the Wolves goal. Then I was like, by the 20th minute, I was fully watching the game. So, I must have. Yeah.
Go back and watch it.
I didn't see it.
But
listen, we don't get penalties anymore. Like, we could take a David Luiz like little touch, and give away penalty that we're given. We do that. No, it's not going. What happens to us? It's never going to happen. So I've accepted it now for what it is.
Yeah, and big dogs are saying refs ain't against us, lads. It's like this all Premier League clubs. Maybe we're not the only ones, but I think with the height of everything that's gone on recently, with the red cards and stuff. I think this is why we kind of getting drawn to it. And again, we saw weekend just gone with the 2 penalties. We didn't get the one with Cedric. However, Man City got theirs against Spurs. Not like I was complaining at all. But yeah, it's just something to look out for. But how do you feel like behaviour-wise?
It's so impressive as well. We're playing against 13 men every game. Just saying.
Silver Fox ain't having it. He ain't having it. But what do you think of our discipline in the last few games? Obviously, it's been a big talking point in the red cards. That's 2 games, no red cards now. I think Saka was the only one to get booked yesterday, and that again I think talks to the dominance.
That was soft.
Oh, do you know what annoyed me about that as well? If you watch just before that, the referee gets in Partey's way, which means Partey can't win the ball, which then triggers Saka to foul. And it's like, if the referee done what he should have done and blown the whistle because he's got in Partey's way, like just dropped sort of for a dead ball, Saka doesn't even give away the foul. Yeah, so it's just little things like that. Again, I know it's the speed of the game. You know what I mean? It can't be helped sometimes, but again, we only got, I think, 1 yellow card yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was Saka.
Saka got the yellow card. So
as well, that's impressive.
Was that sorry?
I think that was Martin Atkinson in charge of the game as well.
Yeah, to get and again, I think that shows to the dominance that we didn't really commit much fouls. Do you know what I mean? We were so comfortable. Fair play.
I'm not sure how I can't even remember the name of their striker up top. I don't even know how he didn't get booked.
Yeah.
He was putting about.
He did get booked in the end, though, didn't he? When he was getting substituted and wouldn't walk off.
Oh yeah, substituted.
But then they didn't even take him off. I don't know what they were doing, to be fair. And I feel bad for him because actually he was saying, my manager's saying, I'm not coming off, but obviously the ball was staying his number. So but to be fair, if you watch the whole game, honestly, every time the keeper had the ball, Lacazette's just doing this because he was taking.
I know.
Every time, and there was one moment
having it.
Yeah, there's one foul we gave in the corner, and it was like right on the corner flag, and these guys pushed the ball forward like 15 yards. Lacazette's going crazy. The ref saying, "How are you letting him do it?" And he's time wasting. But they said the passion on that game yesterday was just mad, man. So I think that.
I think. What do you think of the Partey-Xhaka partnership? I mean, that's building stronger as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Again, I will touch on this in the breakdown. But just the shape of it. When we defend, it's a 4-2-3-1. But when we attack, it was a 4-3-3 yesterday. Like Xhaka definitely played a different position. I think he only got caught out once when Podence found a gap between Xhaka and Gabriel, and Jimenez dragged the shot wide. But I said I'm not Xhaka's biggest fan, but at the moment I've got no complaints. Like he's
I think
done
well. We'll leave 34 alone for a little bit.
I think just my only thing with Xhaka is that I just wanted to keep his head between now and the end of the season. But I don't think I think there'll be very few Arsenal fans out there that at this moment in time, even the Arsenal fans that are not fans of Xhaka, because I'm one of them. But right now, I'm not calling for any other midfielder that we currently have in our squad to replace him in that team. So
I love Sambi, but he's not ready yet.
I love Sambi, but nah.
My only thing with him is because again, it's like the way we're playing at the moment, we're forcing teams to sit back a bit deeper. So I was calling for Xhaka to press on, and he did start doing it. There's a couple of balls we put over the top, and he's trying to get in behind, which is brilliant. However, at the edge of the box, he's not great at linking and connecting things and one-touch football. And this is where, for me, when people were saying about Basuma and them guys, I'm saying I want a more creative attacking player. So someone like Ramsey now playing that role, defensively, yes, not as great, but this is why I think Tillemans or someone who, if they're playing on the front foot, they can go and do that job equally as well as the defensive side. Because that will be the problem for us with Xhaka. It's in and around the box, his awareness, it needs pressed, and it's like he picked up a couple of balls outside the box and just didn't have a clue where any of his players were, and he lost it within 2 touches. So someone who can offer us a bit of that now long term will be the solution, because as I said, when we put up the heat maps, you lot will see what I mean. Like watching it, it was evident to see he was playing a lot higher than Partey was, and so we maybe need someone who's going to be a bit more better offensively, but can equally do the job defensively. So someone like a Neves or Tillemans, who are good on both sides, a bit like how Chelsea got Kovacic, where he can break lines and impact the game going forward just as well as he can defensively. So, but again, it's food for thought, and yeah, I'm not going to get onto Xhaka for the rest of the season unless he does something real Xhaka-ish. But again, I've been saying it for the last few weeks. He's the best of what we got, and I can't criticize his performance at the moment. Like he's showing the character we want and staying out of the headlines, not coming out and doing interviews. I don't need to hear from him. Just go on the pitch, play 90 minutes, and whatever happens at the end of the year, do you know what I mean? Just it is what it is, isn't it? But again, I'd much rather see these guys leaving to a round of applause. And do you know what I mean? Like at the end of the year, it'd be nice if we could get top 4, say goodbye to Xhaka, Lacazette. Like what a way for them to go, rather than how Ozil's left us, how Aubameyang's left us. Like I'd much rather be able to give them guys a clap off and say thank you for your service. What'd you say, sorry?
I think Lacazette will stay.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he's starting to see what's happening, and he knows that he's an important part of it, even if he's not starting. We still need to go and get that striker. I think it'd be important to have, for the rest of the guys in the dressing room. Do you know what I mean?
Would you take him on a 1-year extension?
Take him on a year, because signing 2 top strikers at the same time is going to be difficult anyway, and we want to get another midfielder, possibly another one along the back, and another goalkeeper. So if we can tie Lacazette down to a year, we can get all the other deals that we need to get done. I wouldn't be against it.
How do you reckon that fits though? Because again, he is club captain at the moment. Do you think, like the way we want to head? So just say, for instance, you bring in another striker. Just say Isaac. Like actually, now someone said a bit more proven in Isaac. Someone who's coming in to start every week. All of a sudden now your captain's back on the bench. Like again for Lacazette, it's that disrespect of, like, I've been benched how many times? I finally have a run. We now do really well. Now I'm back on the bench again. Do you reckon he would be happy to sign in them conditions, like of being now, do you know what I mean, the second striker again?
If we get Champions League, we'll have more games next season.
True.
Anyway,
I think that from what I've seen from Arteta, I think Arteta is going to have a very transparent conversation with him. I think, if he goes, he goes. I think if he stays, I think it will be made quite clear what his role will be, or what the season will look like. Arteta doesn't really strike me as a man who's going to say one thing and do another. So I think Lacazette will very much have an idea of what it will look like if he does stay, and whether or not Arteta even wants him to stay. So to be honest, I personally want us to get rid of Eddie and Laka leave, and then get 2 top forwards in. However, we got to be realistic, as Tony said. The reality of one attracting and actually securing two centre forwards in the window is going to be a challenge. The other, you've also got to think about, okay, if we go out there and sign like a Alexander Isak or whatever it is, then that might even put off the likes of a Calvert-Lewin or somebody else coming to the club, because they might even be thinking, well, actually, I'm coming to the club to play second fiddle, or I'm coming to the club to kind of be, rotation with this other guy that they've just spent 70 odd million on. So it is a tricky one. And I don't want to go into next season with Lacazette being a starter. However, if we went into next season with a top striker being brought in and Lacazette being our number 2, or a support striker, I'd take that for another year. But I do agree with you, Gumza, in that it is going to be a bit tricky because, like you said, he is currently club captain. And yeah, like it's well, look, it's Arteta's job, innit? It's his job to manage the squad and manage the players.
And to be fair,
come to some solution, innit?
Yeah, and again, like Tony saying, Laka might say, actually, I love London. I love what you're building here. Actually, I want to be a part of taking that club to the next stage. Do you know what I mean? Seeing them back in the Champions League, like he might be all for it, saying, right, I know I'm not going to get as much minutes, but again, he might just enjoy being at the club. Like, and if he is our number 2, and again, it might even be he starts the season while we give our main striker a bit of time to kind of incorporate himself into the team, like learn the league a little bit. Again, he'll take the beatings, he'll take the hits. While if it is Zach or Calvert-Lewin or someone, while they get used to Arsenal, so it's definitely it would be a good option to keep him. Like, and again, if you look around the league, who's got a better number 2 striker than Lacazette? If we do get someone else big in, do you know what I mean? City don't even have a striker. Liverpool's number 2 striker is probably not really a striker in Jota, but he performs. Who else got? Man United, Cavani. I wouldn't say he's better than Lacazette. Tottenham don't have a number 2 striker. Like, so yeah, him as a number 2 is not a bad option at all, to be fair. So yeah, it's we're heading in the right direction, and let's just hope. As I say, I'm filled with confidence with what the part of board are doing, and it seems like we've come a long way from 3 weeks ago when everyone was going to meltdown on deadline day.
I was calm. I was like, I saw what they were doing, trimming the wage bill, and that comes first for me. You know, especially if we were only in the Premier League. That's it. That's all we had.
Yeah, and again, I think when we look at things in isolation, we say, "Oh, you've got to have 2 players for each position." But then you look on the flip side and say, actually, you look at yesterday, the subs we brought on. Tavares is, do you know what I mean? We've all agreed he's had a pretty good season. He's a good player to bring on. You then brought on Nketiah, who's not everyone's cup of tea, but again, he looked sharp. The last few times I think he looked sharp. So, and then Pepe's come on, and you're talking, we still had Tomiyasu missing, we still had ESR missing. So, yes, we haven't got the biggest squad, but even with one injury, we've seen Tomiyasu didn't play for ages, and we haven't really missed him. Like, we can manage with what we got. It's only when you've now got that 3 games in 7 days will be the sticky one. But again, normally, like Liverpool, for how long don't rotate? Wolves, I think they said Wolves have played the same 11 more than any other team in the league. Like, we make a big thing about this massive rotation. Actually, you don't always need it. Like, yes, you can't account for injuries, but yeah, like these guys could get through it. So yeah, it's not all doom and gloom here. But anything else? Anyone want to get a take off their chest? You've got a minute to go before we wrap up.
I think, you know what? Like, obviously, I know the title of the show was, you know, it's top 4 ours to lose. I think theoretically, it is, because I think if we win all our games and we pick up enough points, we finished at top 4. But I think, as we all know, you know, the Premier League doesn't deal with theory. The practicality of the Premier League is a lot tougher. There are no easy games. So right now, while I'm confident, I'm very much keeping my feet on the ground. And I'm just going to take it, as you said earlier in the show, Gumzo, 1 game at a time. But you know what? All we can do is keep winning games, keep putting ourselves in the best position as possible. And let's face it, I don't think any of us envisioned us being in this position with 14 games to go. So
no, 100%.
Come on, you Gunners, man. Let's keep going.
Definitely. Silver Fox, any last words?
I'm happy. I'm buzzing. I would only echo what G says. I think, listen, the objective was top 6 this season, and we're already exceeding the expectations as it is. I mean, I know we can still fall out. Of course we can. But where we are at the moment, the position we're in, it is ours to lose, and I think we can go for it. As long as Man United stay in the Champions League, why not?
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna go down to the wire, isn't it? And again, just credit to what these guys are doing at the moment. And again, I can watch football this weekend. It looks like Tottenham and United have got easy games on paper. So if they drop points in any of them, do you know what I mean? It puts us again. We're sitting pretty. And all we can keep doing is just putting points on the board, and then just seeing what the others are going to do. Like we're doing every time we seem to step up, we're doing our job at the moment. I've seen us for many years not capitalize on other teams dropping points, and this year we're kind of
doing that,
really doing it. Yeah, it's a big difference. So yeah, Right. On that note, we're literally dead on an hour. It's perfect timing. Guys, thank you so much. People in the comments, thank you for commenting. Make sure if you're watching this back, hit the like,
No
subscribe,
problem, man. Absolute pleasure.
comment still. James is going to be in the comment section talking to you guys if you send any questions in or have anything to say afterwards. So I'm sure Tony will do the same. Check us out on all our socials. Boys, it's been a pleasure. And we look forward to next week.
And watch out for the breakdown. We're going to do it on Monday.
Monday, yeah, we're coming back with it. I've missed it, man.
I'll be tuning in, man. I'll be tuning in.
Love.
I've had messages from asking, like, when is it coming back?
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, let's put the word out. Let's do this. All right.
Top notch, man. Top notch analysis,
Love that.
man.
Respect. Appreciate it. But yeah, we'll talk.
Bless.
Catch you Monday. Peace. Why is it not working? Hold on.